Dude, this is bad. I haven't washed my hair since Saturday.
Well, washing hair is really overrated if you think about it.
They say you're not actually supposed to.
Yeah, why? Why?
Because it's about training your hair to not be greasy. But I think that's
Oh.
advice for a stronger like breed of person. But I'm a very white, blonde, thin-haired person, and that doesn't work for my kind. We get greasy very fast.
But if you don't do it, have you noticed since not washing your hair since Saturday that you have maybe acquired less? Is that your first break from shampooing your hair?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. What I've learned, it's less trained my hair to not be as greasy, but it's trained my mind to not give as much of a shit.
That's probably what it's really about, you know?
Yeah.
I do think we're an over shampooed society, personally.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, that's how they sell the products is every day you got to look your best. You got to shampoo your hair. But since Christmas time, I've been throwing it up in a bun and I haven't taken the sweatshirt off in 2 days.
You know
And I feel
what?
great.
I am. We have a lot of similarities in. I don't know if this is a new thing for you, but that's a very old thing for me of wearing the same thing
Yeah.
day after day.
Well, I was trained at a young age to not. So I went to an all girls Catholic high school, and so it was just we wore uniforms. It was all girls, and if you wore makeup to school, people were like, "Who are you trying to impress? Like, are you a lesbian?" And you're like, "Well, we all are, but we need 10 years to figure that out." But so, and then on Saturday or on the Friday, spirit wear, which was just sweatpants. So from a young age, I was like, or even in high school, I didn't go to school trying to look nice or impress people. So when I got to college, I was like, why are people wearing jeans to class? What is this? And it took me a while to rewire my brain to having to look decent every day. And now I'm going back.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know if you know we had this similarity. I also.
Went to an
Well,
all girls high school.
yeah, I did. It was fun. Nobody
I
knew.
bet.
You
I
know.
bet.
No, I went to an all boys Catholic high school. So
Did you really?
I did. Yeah. Yeah, I was one of those guys.
What state?
Wisconsin.
Wisconsin. Is Wisconsin Catholic?
Oh, yeah. Lots of Catholics here.
Really?
Now, you're from Atlanta, right?
Yeah. No,
So that,
no. Louisville, Kentucky.
oh, you're from Louisville. Okay.
Mhm.
You live in Atlanta.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, the South isn't as Catholic as the North, I don't think. Right?
No, they're more like Baptist, a lot of Baptists. And then whatever the branches from the Baptist are, this is the sad thing is I was so sheltered as a kid. Like everybody went to their parish school, kindergarten through 8th grade, and then all boys or all girls Catholic high school. And I didn't even know when I heard Christian, it was like Christian Catholic. Like I was like, why don't you just say Catholic? I thought Christian was Catholic.
Yeah.
I still don't really understand I don't know I don't know the difference between Pentecostal and Baptist and all these other ones, but I hear Baptist a lot down here.
Yeah, I don't know the difference. Outside of Catholics, it's I mean, there's Lutherans, non-denoms, and then all the Southern ones, you know?
Yeah.
I don't really know. Did you have any good confessions? What'd you confess in your first confession?
Oh, I'm sure. I don't exactly remember, but I would always go to saying cuss words and talking back to my parents and maybe lying about something. But it was always then I would come back from confession with a huge guilt because I didn't admit the real things I should have said.
What? Because that would have been like what? Like second grade?
Yep. First communion, second grade, or confession. Yeah. Both of those were in second grade.
What is the real things that you should have confessed back in second grade? This is I'm certainly no priest, but this is your chance to make right with that confession.
I mean, probably like, well, my parents both work. So, we were home alone a lot, my brothers and I, so we would get in big fights. So maybe like pulling a kitchen knife on my brother. wanted
just
to watch
attempted
The Price is
murder.
Right. Yeah, stuff like that. Maybe I don't, this was one I always felt like I should have admitted. This is going to sound dark. It wasn't. We played horses a lot as a kid. And one of my friends, we're too early to get into this, but I don't know why one of my friends maybe watched too much Animal Planet, but she'd always be like, we can't have a baby unless one person has to give another person a piggyback ride. And I always knew it was a little weird. It was, it was always, I couldn't tell if you were frozen or not.
No, I mean emotionally frozen.
Right.
I think I'm. First of all, you played horses.
Yeah, like
okay.
I've talked about it a good bit in my stand-up now. I had some bit kind of go viral on the internet from it, and I always thought I was kind of weird for playing horses. Like I always say it is like there were the horse girls whose parents took them to a barn or they had a horse and they rode, and then there were the girls who their parents didn't want to pay for horseback riding lessons, so they were horses for each other, and we were those girls. Like we were the horses. And so I like had this bit about it, and then I was weird, and we were weird. We were weird kids. Like we would, like pull each other's hair, be like, yeah, and our stalls were like the parking lot spaces, and we would huff at the boys, like that is. But I thought we were weird. But then this, one of these a bit like went viral, and then all the comment sections were people like giving their own confessions, and it was like there's wolf girls who sounded a lot more they were into some more freaky deaky stuff like moon stuff, than the horse girls. But yeah, we were like the girls where we were like, I mean, maybe sometimes we really did eat some grass here and there. There's just, I don't know, there's something about wanting a horse bad enough where if you don't get it, you have to get your fix out some way.
And I hope all parents are listening to this right now and taking note of this is what happens when you don't get them a pony for Christmas.
Just pay for horseback riding lessons for a year or two, let them grow out of it and move on. Like most of them will not stick with the horse girl stuff. And if they do, that means they're really into it, and you can get a college scholarship for equestrian. just please let them horseback ride, because if not, it's going to manifest in really freaky deaky ways, and then they're going to not confess their horseback piggyback riding sins to the male priest.
And then they're going to grow up to be a stand-up comedian. So you have two options. Horseback riding or stand-up comedian as a profession. Choose wisely.
Do you want your daughter to be a comedian or a dental hygienist? You pick. It's in your hands.
So what else, like growing up in Louisville, did you have like what else were you doing aside for doing horseback riding? And at that point, were you like already developing your desire to be a comedian, or did that not come for some time?
Oh, I had no idea. I didn't grow up in a household where we listened to stand-up specials, or we didn't have like Carlin on the jukebox. I'm not that old. But no, I like growing, like I remember watching, I was very mainstream. Like I was watching YouTube clips of Dane Cook and Aziz Ansari, or like Kevin Hart. Like it was great, but it was very surface level. But no, I was like kind of the goofy kid, but never. I was just very plain. I mean, just the most suburban life as you could get, and had no idea like what I was going to do, get into comedy. I had to get out of Kentucky, went to South Carolina for college, found some loophole to get like in-state tuition, went there, joined a sorority, and then there was some competition for some fraternity where each sorority had to intern a girl, and you had to do like a pageant thing, and I was very awkward, as you can tell, and they entered me, and so I had to do it. So my talent I did a opening monologue like I was Chelsea Handler, her show Chelsea Lately, and I roasted all the frat guys, and I won. And I was like, dude, the people need more of this. And that's when I started thinking about it.
That was your initial hit. And then what were you majoring in college at this time?
Very random. It was called Sport and Entertainment Management, which sounds it was more it's not like the what is Show Me the Money. What was his name?
Moneyball.
Moneyball.
Oh, Show Me the Money.
Is it Tobey Maguire? Tony
No,
what was
oh God. Tom Cruise and
Cuba Gooding Jr.
Cuba Gooding Jr. Yeah. I met him once in a bar in New York randomly.
I bet he was really nice.
He was super nice.
Yeah.
But then I just
Jerry
said
Maguire.
Hi. He doesn't remember. Jerry Maguire. That's funny. We got it. Look at that.
Yeah.
Through the brain pathways somewhere connected.
No, it was in the chat.
Oh, did you put it in the chat?
I didn't.
Oh, Colleen put it in there. That's awesome.
One of the podcast gods.
Colleen is the podcast god. She's sitting here listening, taking notes. So that's actually a great tool. I suppose if we have any questions, Colleen can just Google it.
Colleen's roll the clip, Colleen. I could see him being nice, but no, it wasn't. Dude, there is a whole world of. So I was on venue management, which sounds really cool, but essentially, like, you're working in the arenas and stadiums, and it's a 24-hour job. That, especially if you're in the arena side, I want there to be a show about these people one day, because you're like professional carnies, essentially. Like, you, especially arenas, like any NBA arena. I was like, so what you do is like, so you have all this home games. How many home games? Is it 42 NBA home games or something like that? And then when you're not doing a home game, you're loading in Disney on Ice, right? And then when you're loading out Disney on Ice, it's a Bruno Mars concert, and that loads out at 2 a.m. And then at 3 a.m. Cirque du Soleil loads in, and when Cirque du Soleil loads out, there's a Christian concert or Christian conference or whatever else, and when that loads out, it's a 9 Inch Nail concert, and and then after that, you have to clean the floor from the mosh pit from the blood and the shit everywhere.
You were just doing all this.
Yeah. You don't leave an arena if you work in an arena. It's cool. Like, I mean, I brush shoulders with Bruno Mars, but you don't have a life. It's such a weird business that you wouldn't even really think exists, but it's a wild industry to go into. And I was on the security and ushers side. Like, we managed all the the security, the guys that are wanding you when you go in.
Yeah.
When I worked at the Amway Arena when I started in Orlando Magic's arena. I was 22 when I started. Let me tell you this. I was managing the guys wanding and going through the metal detectors. I didn't know what I was doing. The whole time I was like, first of all, these guys are hourly employees. This is like a side job for them.
Right.
They're not. They're doing the motion. The stick might not even be on.
I knew it.
I'm standing in the back going, if there's a bomb coming in, there's a bomb coming in. So if you ever go to an event, have fun and like really have fun, because it could be your last one, but look it up. No concert is safe. No Bruno Mars concert is safe. No Clay Aiken concert is safe.
So you were just doing that right out of college, 22 years old. How many years did you do that for?
A couple years. I had my last internship in college. I got to work the London Olympics, working for the, let's say together, cleaning company. And true story. Anyway, this was like you were assigned like either the village or like a certain venue, sports venue. I got the velodrome and the BMX track, which I was like, what? I got the lame ones. Dude, velodrome is intense.
I don't even think I know what the velodrome is.
You don't, and then you do. It's cycling with the sides that come up.
Yeah.
Oh my! And so we were in London, which is pretty big in London. So that was one of the Queen and Prince Philip came to that one, and I guess it's big in the UK and maybe Australia. And dude, watching a race live is intense.
So these are the track bikes that you like go around the side super fast,
Yeah.
right?
Yes.
And
Yeah.
those things actually come up as they're like racing, or they start. Does it start flatter and then it goes like that?
So I guess it's kind of like an oval. So I guess the top and the bottom of the Easter egg is when you know what I'm saying, if it's shaped kind of like an Easter egg,
Yeah.
the sides are raised. And so we would walk it, and it's like it's hard to walk to the very top of it. I mean, it's really elevated. And
Yeah.
these bikes, the tires on these bikes are like thin, 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 thin. And the crashes. I mean, coming from a little Kentucky kid, I'm like, let's see a crash. Those were fun. Yeah. So you would have a like your little. I was like managing those, right? And I sent it in a trailer, and when they get a call, we'd have to dispatch clean up in women's restroom, whatever. But I could go into those venues, right? I had a little lanyard. But if you wanted to go into the other venues, uh so I wasn't like a cleaner, but if you would have to pose as a cleaner.
Oh,
So
okay.
so I wanted to see the opening ceremonies. They were in like the major, like the major track,
Yeah.
wherever, like I
The
guess.
main
Yeah. Yeah.
whatever. The
Yeah.
main field.
Yeah. And it was in the UK. So like, I think Pink Floyd was there, Elton John. I don't even remember these days. So
Yeah.
I just posed as a sweeper. They gave me a broom, and my boss was just like, you have the company uniform on, so don't just stand around. Like, you just do a little couple brush strokes, just
Yeah.
to look like you're working.
Yeah.
But I don't know, for whatever reason, got so, I guess, obsessed with it that I missed most of the opening ceremonies, because I was like, this place is a mess. I gotta clean this place. And
that
yeah, but this is a trick. What I did learn, as long as you have a cleaning uniform on, it didn't matter what my lanyard said. People were like, get in here, clean this up. And I went into like the VIP area. I literally hit Stephen Hawking's wheelchair. I had no
really.
idea who he was. My friend who was with me was like, you know who you just ran into? And I was like, I don't know. And then I didn't even know exactly who he was. She was like, he's the greatest scientist of our time, did all this stuff. And I was like, well, you could have invented a force field. But yeah, so if you ever want to get in anywhere, any VIP, anything, as long as you have a cleaning uniform on, people will just let you in.
Wow, we are not, how long are we into this? Like 10 minutes, and we've already learned wait, is this thing going? Hang on, now I'm like confused. Oh, we're 20 minutes in. Okay, that's better. 20 minutes in, and we already found two great ways to sneak some sort of a detonation device into a thing. You either just walk right through the guys with the wands, or you pose as a cleaning person if you get caught there. Wow.
Yeah.
I've never felt less safe trying to enjoy myself.
You shouldn't. You shouldn't. It's not there. You're not safe at any mass sporting event.
Yeah. So
trust me.
That's great. It's great to get the insight. So when did you realize that this cleaning life, this supervising life at the big sports arenas just wasn't for you?
I did that, and then I got to do the PGA, and then I was in Orlando, and then they moved me up to a small venue in Atlanta, and I was having, bring it down a bit. Like, I was 22, my mom passed away suddenly, and I was having this like, you got to live life. You never know. You never know when it's the end, when it's your last concert. So I like I'd still had in the back of my head that I always wanted to try stand up from that time in college. So I took a class.
Oh yeah, where?
At the Improv in Atlanta. Doesn't even exist anymore. It closed 6 months after I started there. Not my fault. And then I was just, I was hooked.
Yeah.
And so I just kept doing open mics, and then my job, actually, they offered me the Dallas Cowboys position at AT&T Stadium, and I want to I want to be an open mic comedian. They were like, good luck. So I quit. I like became a nanny during the day and just started doing comedy every night.
And so you were working in Dallas. Your audio kind of cut out there.
Oh, sorry.
You didn't take that job?
No, I didn't take it.
Okay.
They told me I had to be there in 2 weeks for Jay-Z and Beyonce's On the Run On the Run tour, their first one. And I turned it down and was like, I want to do open mic comedy. This is my dream. I want to tell my life story to 4 drunk dudes at the bar
who will
Tuesday.
Go out of their way not to laugh at your jokes.
Oh, they'll be like, could you move the games on?
So you just started doing that and you were nannying. And did you know, in all seriousness, did you know like, oh, I love this? Or were you like, what am I doing?
Dude, no, I just kept I knew I loved it. Did I know it was going to work out? Absolutely not. I mean, I was like, the first couple years, I was like, oh, let me just ride this wave while I figure out what I want to do with my life, and just kept going out every night and just working on my material and started like hitting the road a little bit. And I didn't have a plan. I wasn't one of these, you hear all these comedians like, I dreamed my whole life of being a comedian and I wanted to be here at this level or at this point in 5 years. And I was like, I got to feature for this person. I can't believe this club let me work here. It was just like, I don't know. I don't know if that's the answer for anybody, but I guess if you don't set expectations, you'll keep surprising yourself.
Funny how that works.
Yeah.
No, I mean, there's a lot to that though, for sure. Like you just enjoyed it and you just kept going. And
yeah.
Did you have like, so you just never had a moment of like really doubting it too much or thinking, this is not going to be my thing? Or
only every time I was about to walk on stage.
Well, that's normal. That's normal.
Right before you go on stage in certain shows, you go, why did I do? I could have been a dental hygienist. I could have been home right now watching Love is Blind with my 4 children in my farmhouse. No, I actually no, that for me, I couldn't live that life. I think I was a nanny for 8 years. I just became like, I just had gone full-time stand-up comedian this August. I mean, I was still nannying when I did the Tonight Show. Like the 2 weeks before the Tonight Show, when I was running my set and everything, I was nannying I got the call that I was booked on the Tonight Show, and I couldn't hear from my manager. I couldn't hear him because there was a 4-year-old screaming at me because I had poured coconut milk and not almond milk.
How could you do that?
I know. I was like, listen, kid, you're going to be pouring my almond milk soon.
Right? So you get this call to do the Tonight Show. How did that come about?
I'm not sure still. No. So again, like I was nannied for 8 years for this one family there. I love them still. But when I started with this family, they had a 9-month-old baby. And when I left, their 3rd kid she was 4, about to be 5. So like I'd been with them for so long and, just like nannied every day. And then literally was going out grinding. Like then the rest of my life was just comedy. And so for 8 years, it was that. And then the beginning of this year, I recorded a Don't Tell comedy set and my clips just
took off.
For whatever reason, just took off. And a couple months later, like signed with management, and I got a call. Just the way my Tonight Show experience happened is not normal. And like I got a call. It just so happened my manager was talking to some of the Tonight Show people at the same time when they had gotten a call that a band that was booked had to back out because one of the members had COVID. And he was like, I just signed with this girl. She's great. You give her a chance. And they were having a good day, I guess. And they were like, all right, let's do it. And I typed up 2 different transcripts, sent it in. They cherry picked, like we like this, put this together in a 5-minute set. And I had like a week and 2 days to run the 5-minute set over and over again and like really perfect it. And I had to rewrite the whole ending of the last bit and get it approved like within a week and a couple days until I was like actually taping, like at Rockefeller taping.
Yeah, that's so wild because most people, I mean, they're like working forever on their like tight 5 to then send over and then hope to get there. But the fact that they like reworked that set with you, that doesn't seem normal. Maybe it is. I don't know. I've never
No,
been
it's not. I shouldn't say it. I shouldn't say it out loud because I know, and rightfully so, there should be some people that want to murder me.
Oh, whatever. Whatever.
But I've said it before, but I've had people be like, yeah, your Tonight Show, the way you got on was quick, but there was 8 years of working 10-hour days, getting in a car, driving 4 hours in Asheville for a 10-minute set, driving 4 hours back, sleeping for 2 hours, and going back to nanny for 10 hours.
Yeah.
And doing it over again. Not saying not everybody does that, but like I had to remember, don't be, like give yourself the credit where it's due. Like there was years and years of preparation behind it that didn't look like the same path as somebody else that got on the Tonight Show, but I know that I was ready for it and put the work in.
Yeah, and your set killed, so you clearly belong there. But leading up to it, did you have like sort of that imposter syndrome, or did you just remind yourself, no, I belong here?
No, the whole time I was like, I have fooled you guys. You guys are going to figure out at one point that somebody has slipped through the cracks here, and it's me.
Right.
And I was laughing. I mean, the whole time, like, I was laughing at myself during the set because I was like, this is so funny that I'm here. I can't believe this has happened. I truly thought that they were going to like cut I was like, they're going to cut in the middle of my set while I'm taping. And they're going to be like, wait, you're not supposed to be here. We'll find somebody else real quick. You got to go. Like to me, I was like, this really feels like a dream, because I'm like, there's no way that this is actually happening.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, it's cool because you never did the typical thing where you moved to New York or you moved to LA and did it there. Did you find that Atlanta was like supportive enough of like comedy that you could just do it there and you didn't have a desire to move out?
Yeah. I mean, I didn't realize it because I was just focusing on my set and trying to deliver enough to be like, yeah, I belong at this level. I can do this. But afterwards, I went back to Atlanta and people were like, you have proven something, that there has been a shift in this industry, that you can make it without, per se make it, but you can do things without having to be in New York or LA. And I think that but it's not just because I did the Tonight Show. I think what it means, you can build a fanhood and build a very successful career based off of an online presence. And you can do that from anywhere. And, there's a ton of comics now who are touring and selling out arenas, theaters and whatnot else. And they live anywhere in the US. They don't live in New York and LA. And it's just because they put their stuff online and people fall in love with them and they go buy their tickets wherever they are.
Yeah. And I think it's a good thing because I think it just diversifies it just gets rid of a lot of the gatekeepers. So then it just sort of diversifies the different voices that are out there and kind of changes sort of what it means to, I guess, be a comic or be someone. It's nice because a lot of people can know you and yet you can probably go live your life and not deal with too much of the celebrity stuff,
Yeah.
that comes because it's like nice for people probably to want to take a picture with you, but it gets weird when they start taking a picture of you,
yeah.
And so I think like you having your audience and yet not everybody knows you is kind of like a better way to be, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, you go buy your green beans.
Yeah.
Like anybody else goes and buys their green beans. You can still sell tickets and have a career. It's just funny. And I also think it's like I think there's pros and cons to the way that this business has shifted because it is so a lot of it unless before this like it, I think COVID had a lot to do with it, this kind of shift and putting content out and putting your material online and building an audience that way. Like after that, if you were already like a really well-known comedian, nowadays you do have to put a lot of content online.
Yeah.
To kind of feed the beast. But, people are like, we want to be entertained. We want to continue to be engaged by you, or not want to, but if you want to continue to remind people of who you are, you've got to do that. But so I think that the pros of it are that you can kind of make it your own thing, whatever you want, whatever kind of product you want to put out there, you can. It's not this is what Comedy Central is buying right now. This is what Comedy Central wants to put online. If make that material, write that material, and they'll put you up. It's whatever you want now. But I would say what I find is that, I don't know if you feel like this, but sometimes it drives you a little nuts to feel like I gotta constantly be having something out there, and it's this anxiety in the back of your head. But so I don't know. It's good and bad, but it's given a ton more people an opportunity to put themselves out there and not have to fit box that whatever service that's putting out specials wants you to fill.
Yeah. It is a double-edged sword to a degree though, because then you've got like, I don't know, you how often do you feel like you have to put out a video to be like cool with the amount you're working, you know?
Oh yeah. And it's like, I'm not even doing what I said I wanted to do, but I had to come to terms with myself and go, all right, do what you can and then be content with whatever you could do that week.
Mm-hmm.
I had to learn to be content with however much I could do that week. And if it wasn't the level I wanted it at, fine. I'll try and get it next week. But I had to stop beating myself up, because then I'd go into this dark hole, and then you weren't like, I wasn't writing anything. I was doubting myself too much, and it just there was no productivity at that point.
Yeah, you got to kind of find what motivates you to do more. And some people are motivated by that like doom and gloom thing, a little bit.
Yeah.
Though I think I'm kind of that way sometimes, but that's not a good thing, because then anytime something's bad, you just kind of become a workaholic that way, and that's not good. But
yeah, I think people operate. Yeah, I don't know. I'm so the opposite, but I wish I could be like that. I wish I could be one of these people that are like, God, I'm gonna punish myself if I don't make this TikTok, these 3 TikToks today. I really wish I could do that. Maybe I need to wear more black. Do you wear black?
I'm wearing black currently. Yeah. Weird time to ask that. Yeah. No, I typically don't wear black though. So don't get the wrong idea that this is my go-to.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, what is it? Do you like? Do you just drink a lot of coffee?
Oh, for making stuff? No, it's a nice concoction. It's like 2 cups of coffee and 3 cups of anxiety, and then there it is, and that just powers me through. So yeah, if you want that recipe, I'll send it right over to you for
Thank
sure.
you. Okay.
Yeah. It's really not actually that great of a recipe, but you know what? It tastes like something. So there you have it.
I'll take it. I've been trying. I almost got on Adderall again.
Oh yeah. Oh, yeah. Just to do more stuff.
Yeah, but then I was like, dude, this is bad. I can't. I was like, Adderall. Adderall's gonna be the cigarettes of 20 years from now.
Oh yeah, because they're like, that can't be good for your heart. Whatever it's doing.
It's not good. It can't be. Like the cigs. Wait, what in the 40s, 50s? They didn't know what they knew now about how bad they were. Adderall's gonna be that.
Yeah, you can't just put your heart through that from childhood, I mean, look, I'm not a doctor, okay? So maybe someone out there with ADD is like, you don't know what you're talking about. Yes, you're absolutely right. But still, like, I had a doctor prescribe that one time to like try it out, and I'd done it, and oh man, yeah, you're more productive. Well, you're doing more stuff. I don't know if you're more productive. You feel like good. You feel like Superman for like 5 hours, and then you crash.
I was never like on it, like prescribed it for a good amount of time, but in college, all 4 of my roommates were, and I would they'd be like, yeah, go grab one, whatever else. So every day I was taking 20 milligrams of Vyvanse, 10 of Adderall.
Oh God.
Ritalin. No, it was not good, but they would all know. Cause by the time 2 PM rolled around, I was crying, and they're like, did you take my extended release? I'm like, you know it. I don't remember college. I blacked out every single night. I don't think I slept 4 years straight. But
that's the other thing. It messes with your sleep.
Yes.
Like you're just sitting there like grinding your teeth. You're like, why can't I sleep? Oh, because you took like some amphetamines. That's why. Yeah.
It seems like this, to me, it's insane that it's still around and as normal as it is. And I know people have ADHD, but I'm like, it's too I feel like it's being used too much as a solution for how intense it is.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Oh, and there's this other thing too. Like, I mean, it's like, yeah, you need it because like you're not sleeping, you know? And so if you're not sleeping, you need more energy. But I always thought it'd be fun to do like a sketch with like this guy who's like, hey, you want some drugs? I got the best drug in the world. 8 hours. It'll knock you out. You'll have crazy visuals. You'll wake up feeling like $100. It's called sleep. That's the mattress right there, you know?
Yeah.
It's like,
what?
Yeah. What? Give me that.
Yeah. And you're like, and they're like, dude, it's like you're watching Netflix in your mind.
Yeah.
They're called dreams.
Yeah. It's wild. Crazy visuals. Visuals.
But you're like in the show. It's almost... that's good.
Yeah. And if you have you ever done any of the lucid dreaming thing? Have you ever read about that stuff?
No.
I've only read about it, and I tried doing it once, but basically if you wake up and you write down your dreams, over time you're supposed to be able to control your dreams. And I've never been committed enough to the cause to figure it out, but I always thought that'd be really fun.
What do you want to control your dreams?
Yeah.
You do?
Sometimes. I mean, sometimes no. I'll just let the dreams do the dream thing. But
I want my brain to tell me what's up.
Wow. That's the difference between us right there. Yeah. You know? It's a control thing. That's what it is.
I think I like to sit down and let it flow to me. And you're like, I'm going to stir this ocean. I'm going to do the stirring, and I'm like, I'm going to do the floating.
Okay. Wow, this became very like low-key yoga class in here, you know?
I got you.
Just float with it. Yeah.
Yeah, I took a lot of Adderall today. I did.
Well,
1 cup of coffee.
1 cup of coffee, that's it. Yeah, you got a lot of energy. I think Adderall might be too much for you. I'm no psycho whatever. What is it, psychotherapist or a psychiatrist? I don't know who prescribes that stuff. Yeah, I suppose I should, since I got it once. But so so now, like what? How many months ago you started doing this full time?
August.
Well, holy that's like, so what are you in a place where like you have an end goal in mind? Do you want to like act, or do you just want to keep doing comedy? Like what's your kind of thing?
I want to create my own show. I have 2 that I'm like, this is going to happen. So I have a podcast called Cheaties, which is great. Like people just call them their cheating stories, and it seems simple, and again, I'm a floater, not a stirrer. So I just let the stories come to us, and we, with my co-host Lace, and we just like explode the story where it needs it, and then bring a lot of humor into it. Some of them are very light and fluffy and surface level. Some of them are a lot deeper. But we started the pandemic, and it's just been this like this the story becomes less about the person who cheated or whatnot else, and about kind of the person who's telling it their journey, if you will. And they're always like, I wouldn't change it. I'm glad I went through it. Now I'm better because of this, this, and this, and I've learned this. And it's like it just kind of like harps on all of these kind of themes. That's at like, learning to respect yourself, blah 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 blah. And I'm like, I this is going to be on TV one day. Mark my words. I want it to be. We've been throwing it on there. Hopefully, we'll work on something for next year, but it will be a TV, and not. It's like not a. It's I don't want it to be like a. It's less in the action trying to catch somebody, and more of this. What's a healthy relationship? What do you want for yourself? What have you learned from yourself? It sounds a lot cheesier than what it actually is when you're in the moment. But it will be a show one day. And then I want to write a scripted show about bad nannies.
Yeah. I already love that. Bad nanny. That's great.
Yeah.
That's great. Well, with the Cheaties show, so you have this podcast where people call in to tell you their cheating stories. Mm-hmm. What are the number one red flags that you've pulled away from these conversations of when maybe someone might be cheating on you?
I mean, what I would say the biggest red flag is recognizing gaslighting. And so it's a lot of like, if somebody asks a question, it turns very defensive, and the person trying to explain themselves turns the person asking the questions into a villain. That I would say is the biggest red flag. And then the other one I would say is just this is gonna sound weird, but just gaps in the schedule, gaps in communication. Pay attention to the gaps because they're getting filled by somebody else.
Okay, that's good. So pay attention to the gaps and the gaslighting. What is the craziest cheating story that you've had on the podcast?
Some of my favorites are this one was just I didn't know what a gold star lesbian was.
Oh,
do you?
No. Yeah,
gold star lesbian is woman who has never been with a man. Ever.
Okay, got it.
Gold star lesbian couple had a guy BFF who would come over to play Monopoly some nights, and the story was insane. But it turns out they just ended up both cheating on each other with him without the other ones knowing.
Really?
Yes. But I was like, it was one of the women who called in to tell the story, but I'm like, imagine being that man. Even if you were telling your friends, they'd be like, dude, that's not true. There's no way. Even if that was a porno, I'd watch it and be like, this is so unrealistic. I can't get behind it.
So how long did that go on with them?
That was I think eventually they both found out. This might have been like 6 months. They both found out. They tried to make it into like a 3-way couple, and it fizzled out. Can you believe?
I can't. Nope.
Yeah. But other ones, like a woman married to a man for years. They had kids, very just suburban, normal couple. And one day, like, had gone on his laptop and saw like some pornographic pictures, and she was like, okay, he's looking at porn. And then she zoomed in on one of the pictures and noticed, I hope this is okay to say on here, but noticed like below shot, and noticed that there was a man's package in there, and the man only had one ball. And she was like, I know that is his one ball.
Oh.
And the woman telling the story was actually her neighbor. She called her over because she worked in like technology or whatever, and they went and somehow like decoded, they like hacked into his computer, something whatnot else, and found like he'd been doing pornography for years and was all over the internet, had this whole like a porn name and was like a porn star and had made like all this money. It had an aside account and all this whatnot else.
What was his porn name? Just out of curiosity.
Yeah, I can't remember. Actually, I don't know if she told.
Okay.
The episode's called One Ball, That's All. Coming up with the episode names is the best part, honestly. It's so fun.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I'm trying to think. I can't. There's so many. A lot of pilots and a lot of people in the military. We get those a lot. One man was dating a woman and had 2 different families, but with kids.
You always hear about that. You're like, how? You know?
Well, he had 4 daughters with a wife.
4 daughters with one, and then what? 2 with the other, or something like that.
Yes, and she was another girlfriend who'd been dating for years.
Oh my God!
Military.
Oh, it's a military thing. So one at home, one at the base, kind of a thing.
Yeah, and none of them knew about each other.
That's got to create so much like stress on your life.
That's my question I ask every episode. I'm like, it takes me weeks to get to the point where I wash my sheets. Like, I don't have time.
Yeah.
I don't have time for anything. How do you have 3 families?
Yeah.
6 kids. Where do you find the time? It's a lot of coffee.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Well, is it, and what sort of inspired it? Your co-host got cheated on, right?
Yeah. So she, I was newer to comedy at the time. She had been doing this bit on stage about catching an old boyfriend cheating. And the bit was kind of like, he comes home drunk, you go to fake sleep. When he starts snoring, you wake up, you grab his phone, you roll under the bed. And, she was like, I found these pictures under Jonathan's text messages. And she was like, well, Jonathan's tits look a lot nicer than what I remember. She scrolls up, right? So she's like, he had saved this girl's number under Jonathan, and she finds all these text messages, pictures, blah blah blah, and she's like, so you have to screenshot, scroll, send yourself the pictures, then delete the pictures and the messages, then delete the pictures and delete the deleted, whatnot else. So I remembered this whole bit. I'd heard it a couple times. Yeah. So I was dating a comic at the time. We were living together. He was taking a nap. I was bored. I couldn't sleep. Too much Adderall. So I was like, well, I think I memorized his phone password. So I'd gone through it, found it. And I was like, well, and then I was like, well, I got to send them to myself. And I was like, well, then I got to delete them. And then I got to go delete the pictures. I got to go delete the deleted. And like, I remembered her bit and I was like doing it. So I called her. I was like, I scroll screenshot. It was like traumatic or whatever. I mean, looking back now, I was dating a comic, so it was bound to happen. Right. But at that point we were like, I mean, everybody has a story at some point. We were like, well, let's start asking people. Let's hear their stories. And that was the birth.
Yeah. What do you think is the underlying reason? Like, maybe if you could, I'm sure as you're doing a show on this, you might get there, but what do you think's the underlying reason for people like cheating, and also maybe low-key knowing someone's cheating, but staying anyway until there's proof?
Cheating is always the cheater's issues. You know what I mean? Like, it's whether they've got some narcissistic side to them that needs to feel needed by multiple people or whatever else, or that it's always their issues, number one. And I mean, it could be a multitude of things, but and then I think that the cheaty, the person being cheated on, kind of knowing that they're being cheated on, it's being a fear of having to face the hardship and the changes, like ripping off the Band-Aid. I think a lot of people would rather sweep it under the rug and not face it until it's really in their face. Sometimes it's almost easier to ignore the issue when it's not like glaring you. in the eyes.
Right.
But it'll get it that turns into like a little tiny like bacteria that'll start growing and growing and growing inside of you, and then you end up on Discovery ID, and and you've killed a person.
Okay, good to know. Good to know. So for all those out there in that situation, maybe it's time to take the antibiotics. Which is probably scrolling through their phone. Do you recommend that? Do you recommend taking their phone and?
Listen, this is what I say.
Yeah.
We are not like Lace. We both host a show. We're comedians. We aren't psychiatrists.
Right.
We're jokesters.
Yeah.
We're not perfect people. Sure. Is it probably not the best move to go through somebody's phone? No, probably not. But as the person that I am, it's fun. I even tell my boyfriend now, it's probably not the healthiest move, but sometimes when you're just a curious cat, I trust my boyfriend wholeheartedly now. Sometimes I just like to go through his phone, just like to go through his work emails just to find out who he is at his work life. Like, how does he talk to his employees? How do you text your Uber Eats driver? Things like that. It's just nice to know sometimes.
Yeah.
But no, is it the healthiest move? No. But is it fun? Hell yeah.
I love that. Well, before we go, where can people find you?
You can go internet. I mean, I'm on Instagram. Not on the internet.
Yeah.
My internet's bad.
Okay.
Instagram, it's Katherine Blanford. And then katherineblanford.com for all my shows. I'm everywhere. I'm a lot of the one night wonders right now. So I'm doing a lot of the Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursdays.
Love it. That's great. Yeah. You coming to Milwaukee at all?
I was just in Milwaukee. I did Milwaukee Improv.
Yeah, great club.
Yeah, they're the people. So nice. I did get a cease and desist from Miller High.
Miller High Life?
Yeah.
Wait, you got a cease? We have to talk about this before you go. You got a cease and desist from Miller High Life for what?
I make some fun little flyers, and I have an artist that helps me do some flyers for shows, and so he put my picture on maybe an ad that looked a little too much like The Girl in the Moon.
Oh yeah, yep, okay.
And they said they're serious. They're really serious about it. And so they sent me a cease and desist, and they reported me to Instagram and Facebook, and now I'm on probation there.
Oh
and, no! I'm on. If I do one more slip up.
Okay.
But and then I did put my face in a Starbucks ad, and they haven't called because they're too busy with other right now, and employees unionizing. So they're too busy, but not Miller High Life. Oh. And so I got in a little trouble, and I did talk about it on stage, and I might not. You know what? I'm a big Bud Light, love Bud Light.
Oh, you're a Bud Light fan now because of that, huh?
Oh yeah.
Boy.
Oh my God. I should have brought a Bud Light on stage. I almost did. I was that petty about it.
Well, good for you. It's your right to be petty about it.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks so much for coming on. I appreciate you. This was a lot of fun.
Thank you. Appreciate you guys. And shout out to Spectrum Internet.
Yeah. They'll be sending you a cease and desist now, too.
This podcast has been sponsored by Spectrum, the spottiest internet in the South.
All right. We'll talk to you soon.
Thank you so much. Toodles. Bye.
All right. Bye-bye.